Imagine two people who both work 8 hours a day. One answers emails, attends meetings, grinds all day, and ends the year maybe 10% ahead. The other spends that same time building systems, automations, and assets. A year later, their work produces results even when they're sleeping. Same hours. Completely different outcomes. That gap is called leverage, and it's the difference between burning out and breaking through. In this video, we're going to dismantle the cult of grind harder and replace it with a smarter rule. Anything you do repeatedly should eventually be done by a system, a machine, or someone else. You'll learn a practical framework to multiply your time, income, and impact without sacrificing your health. By the end, you'll have a step-by-step plan to stop trading hours for results and start building multipliers that keep working long after you stop. Let's get clear on what this video is and isn't. This is not another motivational speech telling you to hustle more, sleep less, and outgrind everyone around you. You've heard that 1,000 times, and it hasn't made your life meaningfully easier. Instead, we're going to talk about leverage. How to set up your work so that every hour you put in creates output far beyond that single hour. We'll break down different forms of leverage: systems, tools, capital, people, code, and content. And I'll give you concrete examples you can apply this week, whether you're an employee, freelancer, creator, or founder. If you want more videos about building a leveraged, sane life instead of a burnt-out one, make sure you're subscribed and have the notification bell on so you don't miss what's coming. And stay with me all the way to the end, because we'll put everything together into a simple personal leverage plan you can actually implement. To use leverage, you first need to internalize a core principle. Effort and results are not linearly related. Most people operate as if 1 hour of work equals 1 unit of output. They think, if I want 10 times the results, I need to work 10 times as hard. That's the grinding mindset. Leverage flips this. With the right multipliers, 1 hour of work today might create a system that produces results every week for the next 3 years. Suddenly, that single hour is worth 150 hours of future output. Think about writing a high-converting email sequence once that sells your product every day, or creating an onboarding template that every new client uses automatically, or building a piece of software that thousands of people pay for monthly. Same input, a chunk of your focused time, wildly different output. From now on, we're not asking, how can I work more? We're asking, how can this hour keep paying me back? The second principle of leverage is decoupling your time from your output. If every dollar you earn, every task you complete, or every bit of progress you make requires you to be actively present, you've built a fragile system, your life. If you get sick, take a vacation, or simply have a bad week, everything stalls. Decoupling means building processes, assets, and systems that keep moving without constant supervision. In a job, that might mean documented workflows so your team can execute without you. In a business, it's automated fulfillment, scheduled marketing, and self-serve support resources. Think of your role shifting from doer of tasks to designer of repeatable machines. Your calendar should gradually reflect fewer reactive activities and more time spent improving the underlying system. You're still working, but instead of pushing the car, you're building the engine. We'll now explore specific kinds of leverage that let you do this in a practical way. We'll start with one of the most accessible forms of leverage: systems. A system is simply a repeatable process with a clear trigger, steps, and outcome. Most people keep their systems in their head, which means every time they do something, they reinvent it from scratch. That's pure grinding. Instead, you want to capture and standardize. Ask, what do I do repeatedly? Weekly reports, client onboarding, content production, lead follow-ups, hiring? For each, write down the steps in order, then simplify and group them. Next, choose a tool to host your systems. Notion, Google Docs, a project manager, anything searchable and shareable. Turn each repeated workflow into a checklist or template. Over time, refine them based on mistakes or delays. The power move. Eventually, these documented systems become trainable. You can hand them to a colleague, contractor, or future hire and have them execute at 80 to 90% of your quality with a fraction of your involvement. Next is tools and technology leverage. The right tool can replace hours of manual effort, reduce errors, and free up your brain for higher value thinking. But most people either underuse tools or drown in them, constantly switching apps without building real leverage. Start by mapping your work into categories: communication, planning, creation, analysis, and delivery. For each category, identify one or two core tools. Email or Slack for communication, a project manager, a calendar, a notes system, maybe a CRM. Then ask a simple question: what am I doing manually that this tool could do automatically? Examples: email filters that auto-sort and label, calendar booking links instead of back-and-forth scheduling, templates in your design or writing software, rules in your spreadsheet that calculate instead of you. The goal isn't to be a tech nerd. It's to let machines handle the predictable so you can handle the nuanced: strategy, creativity, relationships, and judgment. Capital leverage is using money to save time and create more money. A lot of people resist this, thinking, I can't afford help or tools yet, but often not spending is what keeps them stuck, grinding forever. There are three basic plays here. First, buy back time. Pay for services that remove low-value, energy-draining tasks from your life. Cleaning, basic admin, grocery delivery, even occasional childcare. If your effective hourly rate is higher than what you're paying, you're creating leverage. Second, invest in assets that produce income: a small online product, digital templates, affiliate content, or if you're ready, more traditional investments. The key is recurring value, not one-off wins. Third, reinvest profits into growth channels, better tools, advertising, team members, or education. Every dollar should either increase your capacity, your reach, or your skill. The question becomes, where can money move me up the value chain faster than time alone? People leverage is one of the most misunderstood and powerful multipliers. Many high performers stay stuck because their identity is wrapped around being the one who does everything best. That may be true today, but it guarantees you'll always be busy and capped. The mindset shift is this: your job is not to do everything. Your job is to design the work, set standards, and place the right people in the right seats with clear systems. Start with delegation experiments, not full-time hires. Use freelancers or part-timers to handle specific, well-defined tasks that already have a process. Editing videos, preparing reports, scheduling content, basic research. When you delegate, don't just throw tasks over the wall. Share the checklist, examples of good, and a simple feedback loop. Expect an onboarding curve, then compounding dividends. Over time, your calendar should contain fewer operational tasks and more leadership tasks, clarifying priorities, removing bottlenecks, and coaching your team or collaborators. Content and media leverage is how individuals today can reach thousands or millions without traditional gatekeepers. One well-crafted piece of content, a video, article, podcast, or thread, can keep attracting attention, trust, and customers long after you've moved on. Think of each piece as a tiny salesperson, teacher, or recruiter that works for you 24/7. The key is to create content that is both discoverable and durable. Discoverable means aligned with what people are already searching or caring about. Durable means relevant for months or years, not just this week's trend. Start by documenting what you already know: answers to questions you keep getting, lessons from your work, frameworks that help you make decisions. Turn these into tutorials, breakdowns, or case studies. Then build simple systems: a content idea list, a weekly publishing rhythm, and repurposing. Turn one idea into short clips, posts, and an email. You're building a library of leverage, not chasing virality. Code and automation are leverage in their purest digital form. Work once, run forever. You don't need to be a professional developer to benefit. Low-code tools, automation platforms, and AI can turn repetitive tasks into silent background processes. Start by listing anything you do that follows a predictable if this, then that pattern. When a lead fills a form, you send a similar email. When a file arrives, you rename and store it. When a payment hits, you update a spreadsheet. Tools like Zapier, Make, native integrations, and scripting in Google Sheets can often handle these. Even simple email autoresponders are powerful automations. The goal isn't to automate everything blindly. It's to remove the robotic parts of your work so you can focus on the human parts. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "Here we go again, same steps," ask, "Could a simple automation do this cheaper, faster, and more reliably than I can?" There's another overlooked form of leverage: decision and thinking leverage. Most people react to whatever's in front of them, making dozens of low-quality decisions a day. You can't scale that. But you can scale good thinking by turning it into principles, checklists, and constraints. For recurring situations, like which projects to accept, which clients to work with, or what content to produce, define criteria upfront. For example, we only take projects that can generate X revenue, teach us a new capability, or deepen a strategic relationship. That instantly removes dozens of low-value options. Use checklists for complex but repeatable decisions. Hiring, launching, negotiating. Pilots and surgeons rely on them for a reason. Finally, schedule thinking time. 1 hour of deep, uninterrupted thought about a bottleneck can save you 50 hours of scattered effort. When you convert good thinking into reusable decision rules, you multiply your future choices automatically. Leverage becomes truly powerful when you start stacking it, combining multiple forms so they feed each other. Think of it like building layers of an operating system for your life and work. For example, you create a system for producing content. Systems leverage. Use tools and templates to speed it up. Tool leverage. Turn that content into an evergreen video or guide, content leverage. Then run paid ads to it, capital leverage. And have a freelancer repurpose and schedule everything, people leverage. Meanwhile, automations handle email sequences and tagging, code leverage. Each layer makes the others stronger. Content improves your ability to attract opportunities, which makes your time spent on relationships more valuable. Better systems make it easier to onboard help, which frees more time for high-leverage thinking. When you evaluate new ideas, ask, does this connect to and amplify my existing leverage, or is it an isolated grind? Prioritize the former ruthlessly. Designing your personal leverage stack starts with brutal honesty about where you are today. Take inventory in 4 areas: time, skills, tools, and assets. Time. Where do your hours actually go? For 1 week, track your activities in 30-minute blocks. Highlight anything repetitive, low skill, or draining. Skills. What can you do that's rare, valuable, and enjoyable? That's where your direct effort should concentrate. Tools. What are you already paying for, but barely using? Learn the 20% of features that could save you the most time. Assets. What have you already created? Documents, templates, code, content that could be reused, packaged, or sold. From there, set a 90-day leverage plan with 3 moves: 1 system to build, 1 automation or tool to fully implement, and 1 task to delegate or buy back. Attach clear calendar time to each. You're not trying to go from 0 to fully automated overnight. You're upgrading the structure of your work 1 meaningful multiplier at a time. Let's condense everything into a few key takeaways you can remember and act on. First, grinding is not a badge of honor. It's often a sign of missing leverage. Hard work still matters, but only when it's aimed at building multipliers, not repeating tasks. Second, there are many types of leverage available to you right now: systems, tools, capital, people, content, code, and better decision-making. You don't need all of them at once. Start with the one that solves your biggest current bottleneck. Third, design your role to shift from doer to architect. Your main job becomes building and improving the machines, processes, teams, automations, and assets that create results. Finally, think in decades, not days. A single well-designed system or asset can quietly compound for years. Ask daily, is what I'm doing right now building something that will outlive this hour? If not, adjust. Now it's your turn to move from grinding to leverage. Don't just nod along and go back to your old patterns. Before you click away, choose one concrete action you'll take in the next 24 hours. Document a process, set up a simple automation, schedule a block to design your first hire or freelancer task, or outline a piece of evergreen content. If this video helped reframe how you think about work, hit the like button so more people escape the grind trap. Subscribe and tap the notification bell if you want more deep dive practical breakdowns on leverage, systems, and building a life that scales. In the comments, tell me your biggest grind problem right now, where you feel most stuck repeating the same work. I'll read through and reply with leverage ideas, and maybe even turn a few into full videos. Remember, every system you build is a small rebellion against a life of endless busy work. Start building yours today.